Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter podcast. My name is Raylene, aka Kamana Knits, on Ravelry and Instagram. You can find show notes for this episode, as always, at theeclecticknitter.com. Episodes are on YouTube and iTunes. You can even find them on archive.org if you really want. This is an unexpected recording, but I have like 2 days before my parents arrive and we move. So I decided to take a minute to record. I just got back from my parents for Christmas. Late afternoon, and have been working ever since. I have possibly someone coming by to buy the desk that's over here, so I don't necessarily have a whole lot of time, because I expect them in about 45 minutes or so. So it'll be finished objects and whips. Knitted finished objects. I have no spinning finished objects, and my spinning is not here. So finished objects. I forgot to talk about 2 finished objects last week because I didn't have show notes, because I'm brilliant. So the first finished object I have, this is the Afterglow Cowl by Tanis Lavallee. It's like 6 o'clock here and it's dark. 6:15, 6:20 p.m. Central Standard. Dark. So this is out of, the color's really not very good, but it's out of Miss Babs Yowza in the Blue Dasher colorway, and this is a reversible cowl. So that was the right side, and this is the wrong side, which I almost like better than the right side. She says she had used 460 yards or something. Mine did not use that much, not even 400 yards, and I followed the pattern. I did some extra rows at the end so that it wouldn't ruffle or flare, because there was, the last row was supposed to be a cable row, so I did a few extra rows with the hopes that it wouldn't ruffle, and it doesn't. So yeah, that's that. It was a very enjoyable pattern. I will probably knit it again. Next thing finished is the Sonder shawl. This is out of Madeline Tosh Home in the Flycatcher Blue colorway. This was done exactly to pattern. I am missing a tassel because it fell off after blocking, and I put it somewhere and I don't know where I put it. So I think I mentioned it last week that I was going to do it bigger, but I'm not going to anymore. This used over 3 skeins. I had 4 full skeins. Used about 3 and maybe 10 grams of the last one. Maybe less, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is a shawl by Helen Stewart. It is knit out of a bulky yarn on US 11 needles. It blocked out quite a bit larger than it was to begin with. The pattern as written, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. In these sections of stockinette, there's a row of ribbing and then a stockinette. Like you knit 1, purl 1 across, and then you just purl back. I did that for a couple, and I didn't really like how that looked, so I just did the rest with plain stockinette in between the yarn overholes. That was probably the only mod I made. I did make the tassels first, because I wanted to make sure that I could use up all of my yarn if I wanted to. That was also a really nice knit. I like the object, the finished object. I don't have a lot of bulky yarn, and that was more to get some bulky out of my stash. So I don't know if I would knit it again, simply because I don't stock a lot of bulky yarn in my stash. The next finished object is a finished object that you've technically seen before. So in July, I finished these Waiting for Winter mittens. These are out of Beaver Slide Dry Goods, merino mohair worsted in the Mountain Midnight colorway. but I knit a lining into them out of my leftovers of the Miss Babs. So they are, and one of them I actually ripped out the original glove a little ways and knit it longer because it wasn't quite as long as it should be. And I had both my dad and my brother try these on over Christmas, and they said they fit well. So that's a gift for a friend. I knit him the Craig hat last winter, and this is the mitts, and then I'm working on the scarf, which you'll see in WIPs. And then for the same friend, I finished a pair of socks. So these are Lollipop Yarns Beefcake, her sport weight sock, in the Beam Me Up colorway. I did these on, these are 72 stitches. I did the heels, toes, and cuffs on a WEOS 1. It's a 2.25 millimeter needle. And then the body of the sock was done on size 0. That's 2.0 millimeter 9-inch circulars. And on the second sock, I cut the heel here instead of in between these two stripes. I cut it in between these two stripes. And I had knit a little bit of the heel before I realized my mistake. So I actually ripped it out and re-Kitchenered this back together and then recut the heel, because I do a true afterthought heel where I'm putting the needle in the stitches and then cutting in my heel. So that's how you fix that. You just Kitchener it back up. You do half and then you go back and do the other half, because I cut in the middle so that I can unpick on either side. And then you have ends to like darn the holes that form kind of right here. So I Kitchenered one half of it, trying to make sure that I had enough waste or yarn that I had unpicked, and then I flipped my needles and Kitchenered the other half so they met in the middle, and then I like wove in my, yeah, it was a little bit hokey, but whatever. The yellow is obviously blowing out the camera a bit. So those and the gloves are going to the same person, and I will be sending those hopefully shortly if I can remember. That's it for finished objects. That's 4 finished objects. Now 2 of them I should have showed last week, but whatever. So the next thing on my needles is my Aquina scarf. Oh, I have all kinds of stuff in here. I have started on my 3rd skein, full skein. So I have done from the whale stitch marker up. Probably got another 8 inches done on it. You really can't see it very well. I'm sorry, the lighting's not very good tonight. Mostly because of the time of day. So I think that's maybe another 6 inches. Maybe. I don't know, I'm not very good with estimating. Could be more, could be less. I have a measuring tape here, but I'm not going to worry too much about measuring it. Just going to move my whale. This is out of Beaver Slide Dry Goods. It's the same as the mitts. Beaver Slide Dry Goods, 90% merino, 10% mohair worsted 2-ply. It's a non-superwash wool. I have another 2 skeins in my stash somewhere. I'm not sure where they are right now. Hopefully I find them sooner rather than later. But that is coming along slow and sure. Slowly but surely, I guess would be the correct way of saying that. You'll find this as weird as I do, but I don't have any socks on the needles. So the next thing is my granny stripe blanket. My mom and I measured this out, and it is about 120 inches. which is about 60 inches too wide for a queen size bed. Queen size bed is about 80. King size bed is 110. So I'm even bigger than a king size bed. But this is what I have done so far. It just keeps going. I cannot fit it all on. I'm using all leftovers. If I can fold it back together, I'm finding that I like to kind of zigzag it as I'm, or fold it up as I'm working. Okay. This is the Granny Stripe blanket by Attic 24. I am doing this out of leftover sock yarn. I'm doing it on 3.5 millimeter hook, and it's just going. I really enjoy working on it, so that's gotten actually quite a bit of progress, I think. It's hard to tell, and I don't have a progress keeper on it, so I really have no idea. I think it's probably gotten 5 or 6 rows on it since you saw it last. The next thing is my other crochet blanket. This is my Granny Square blanket. And I have 8 full rows on it. I'm going to back up a little for this. It's 10 squares wide, and right now it's 8 rows high. I'm hoping to do 12 rows before I do a border. The border, I'm using Tanis Fiber Arts Pure Wash Fingering in the natural colorway, and the middles are just leftover sock yarn scraps. I have also woven in the ends for everything but the 8th row. So even my ends are being woven in. Aren't I fancy? So yeah, it's becoming almost actually usable blanket sized, which is nice. Excuse me. And the last project is a new cast on. And it's just a wee cast on that you won't even be able to see very well because it's so scrunched up on needles. So this is the start of a pavement sweater by Vera Valimaki. I have done the collar, or the neckband, and this is the short row shaping at the back. And I have done, I believe, 12 rows of stockinette of raglan shaping, well, kind of raglan shaping. I'm doing this out of Madeline Tosh Work sock in the pavement colorway. And this is a sport weight sock. So it's a little bit thicker than what's in the pattern. And because of that, I am knitting this on US size 6s. That's 6 US 4.0 millimeter needle. And I am doing it at a gauge of 20 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters, because that's the gauge that I got with Work Sock that I really like. And it's slightly larger than the gauge of the pattern, and the pattern only goes up to 55-inch bust, and I need a bust that's slightly larger. And this gauge should give me a large enough sweater, hopefully. So yeah, we're going on that. I just have it on 16-inch circulars right now, and I couldn't find any 24-inch cables for my interchangeables, and yeah, so I cast this on last night and got that much done. It's knitting up really nice. I am not alternating skeins. I should be. I have 5 skeins of this. I'm not alternating. I should be. I'm not, but I should be. And that is because they look really well matched and it's like a tonal semi-solid. I may find out later that I should have, and I may start at some point if I start seeing a lot of pooling. I mean, I don't really. And I should, because better to be safe than sorry, but I'm not at this point. So there's that. I'm not sure. So yeah, it's really nice and soft. It's working up. It's knitting up very nicely. I really like this base. I have a lot of it that are like it. And that is everything. As you can see, I'm busy packing still. Move this weekend, and yeah, it's just busy, busy, busy. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Oh yeah, I wanted to year-end wrap up. Just gonna turn on my other monitor here. I feel like this should be angled a bit further down. Is that better or worse? I cannot tell. Either way, that did not turn my monitor on. Okay, so looking at my projects, I haven't run any spreadsheets or anything. In 2017, I have started, including, well, I have worked on 56 projects. In 2016, I only did 7. I didn't knit for most of the year. And 2 of the projects that are in my 2016 tab on my Ravelry project page actually finished this year. So, and then one of them is still an outstanding, my Tosh Merino light blanket. I started that in 2015, I believe. So, yeah, I knit a lot this year. So 34 of the 56 projects this year were socks. Mostly for myself, some presents, 2 pairs for my niece, I think 4 or 5 pairs for my mom, a pair for a friend, another pair for a friend. So yeah, it's been a sock year, and sock year will probably continue. I did knit 2 full sweaters for myself, a sweater for my niece. I finished a sweater for my sister-in-law, and I finished my low tide tee. So yeah. Oh, 2 for my niece, the R&R hoodie, and then I did a little boxy for her as well. Not too many. I did a Yarrows Away It shawl, a brickless, and the Hohi Mystery knit along for shawls, and then the Sonder shawl. The Afterglow cowl is the only cowl I knit. I did knit a couple of hats, including 2 hand-spun hats. Where's my other hand-spun hat? I knit a baby blanket. I don't think my simple hat is in. Do I even have it? Yeah, it's there. It doesn't look like it got the tag. Anyway, yeah, it didn't get the 2017 tag. So make that 57. Anyway, I knit a lot this year, and I'm hoping that will continue in years to come. I don't really have a goal for this year. I was thinking about making it the year of socks and only knitting socks, but I have so many blankets and other, like, I don't even have a pair of socks on the needles right now, and all of my yarn to start new projects and stuff is not here. So it will be the year of knitting. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you all had a great holiday and enjoy your New Year's Eve. Stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.